Imagine waking up and the very first thought that enters your mind is a whisper telling you that you are already behind. Your eyes haven't even adjusted to the morning light, but your brain is already weaving a complex web of reasons why today will be exhausting, or why that project you started is destined to fail. Why your brain lies to you every morning and how to fight back is not just a catchy phrase, it is a fundamental struggle of the human condition that we must address if we want to reclaim our peace and purpose. You see, your mind is a master storyteller, but it isn't always a truthful one. It uses the quiet moments of the dawn to amplify your deepest insecurities, masking them as realistic concerns. It's like a tired cat waking up in a strange room. Its first instinct is to hiss at the shadows, even if those shadows are just the furniture of a safe home. We often mistake these early morning anxieties for intuition or foresight, but in reality, they are often just the echoes of a survival mechanism that has gone into overdrive. This biological glitch is designed to keep you safe by keeping you small. Yet it is this very mechanism that prevents you from reaching the heights you were meant for. The morning hours are a fragile bridge between the subconscious and the conscious world. When you first stir, your brain is transitioning from the dream state, where everything is fluid and symbolic, to a waking state, where logic is supposed to rule. However, during this transition, the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, tends to be hyper-reactive. This is why a simple task like answering an email feels like facing a lion when you are still under the covers. But here's the truth your brain won't tell you. Those feelings are not facts. Your brain lies to you because it values survival over your personal growth. It would rather you stay in bed, hidden from the risks of the world, than have you step out and face the potential for both failure and success. We must learn to distinguish between the protective hiss of our internal feline nature and the actual dangers of our environment. Most of the time, the brain is simply projecting past failures onto a future that hasn't happened yet. It creates a narrative of lack, telling you that you aren't enough, that you don't have enough time, or that the world is too harsh. But why does this happen specifically in the morning? It's because the cortisol levels in your body naturally spike about 30 minutes after you wake up, a phenomenon known as the cortisol awakening response. While this is meant to give you the energy to start the day, in a modern world filled with chronic stress, this spike often translates into a wave of dread. Your brain takes this chemical surge and looks for a reason to justify it. It looks at your to-do list and says, "See, this is why you feel stressed." It looks at your past mistakes and says, "This is why you should be afraid." It is a feedback loop of deception. You are not your thoughts, you are the observer of your thoughts. If a cat watches a laser pointer moving across the wall, it knows the red dot is there, but it doesn't necessarily know that the dot is an illusion controlled by someone else. Your morning thoughts are that red dot. They are fast, they are captivating, and they feel very real, but they have no substance. To fight back, you must first recognize the lie as it is being told. The deception often takes the form of catastrophizing. Your brain takes a small possibility of a negative outcome and stretches it into a guaranteed disaster. If you have a meeting, your brain says you'll be fired. If you have a date, your brain says you'll be rejected. This is the predator in the grass mentality. Your brain is scanning the horizon for threats that don't exist. It ignores the beautiful sunrise and focuses on the one dark cloud in the distance. This cognitive bias is deeply rooted, but it is not permanent. We can reprogram the way we interpret these early signals. Think of your mind as a house cat that thinks it's a tiger. It's trying to be fierce and protective, but it's actually just knocking things off the shelf and making a mess. You need to guide that energy. You need to tell your brain, "I see what you're doing, and I appreciate the attempt to keep me safe, but we are not in danger today." Moreover, the brain lies by omission. It reminds you of every time you stumbled, but conveniently forgets every time you soared. It highlights your weaknesses while blurring out your strengths. This morning amnesia is a tool of the ego to keep you within a predictable comfort zone. But growth lives outside that zone. If you listen to the lies, you will never leave the porch. You will spend your life staring at the birds from behind a glass window, never knowing the thrill of the hunt or the joy of the climb. The battle begins the moment you open your eyes. It is a battle of narratives. Will you accept the script written by your prehistoric fears,
Or will you write a new one based on faith, resilience, and reality? The lies of the morning are designed to make you feel isolated, as if you are the only one struggling with these shadows. But the truth is, every great soul has had to wrestle with their own morning demons. It is the universal tax we pay for having a complex consciousness. To truly fight back, you need a truth filter. When a thought enters your mind at 7 a.m., ask yourself, is this based on evidence or is this based on fear? Most of the time, you will find there is zero evidence for the catastrophe your brain is predicting. The brain also uses the perfectionist trap. It tells you that if you can't do everything perfectly today, you might as well not do anything at all. This leads to procrastination, which then feeds back into more morning guilt. It's a vicious cycle. Your internal cat is telling you that if you can't catch the biggest bird on the first try, you should just stay in the sun and nap. But life isn't about the perfect catch. It's about the consistent effort. It's about showing up even when your brain is screaming at you to hide. We must dismantle these lies one by one, replacing the what-ifs of worry with the even-ifs of courage. Even if it goes wrong, I will handle it. Even if I fail, I will learn. This shift in perspective is the ultimate weapon against the morning deception.
Another subtle way your brain deceives you in the morning is through the illusion of urgency. It makes you feel like every problem in your life must be solved before you've even had your first cup of coffee. This mental pouncing creates a state of frantic paralysis. You feel so overwhelmed by the sheer volume of imagined tasks that you end up doing nothing at all, which only validates the brain's initial lie that you are incompetent. This is the behavior of a kitten chasing its own tail. It's a lot of energy spent going nowhere. To break this cycle, you must understand that the morning is for preparation, not for solving the world's problems. Your brain tries to drag the weight of tomorrow and the regrets of yesterday into the present moment, creating a heavy burden that was never meant to be carried all at once. When you feel that rush of false urgency, take a breath and remind yourself that the only thing you need to master is the next 5 minutes. The brain also loves to use social comparison as a morning weapon. As soon as you pick up your phone, your mind starts highlighting how much better everyone else's life seems. It lies by telling you that you are the only one struggling, while everyone else is waking up in silk sheets with a clear plan. This is a digital hallucination. Just like a cat seeing its reflection in a mirror and thinking it's a rival, you are fighting a ghost. You are comparing your messy, behind-the-scenes morning with someone else's highlight reel morning. This lie drains your motivation before the day even begins. The truth is, your brain is wired to look for hierarchy and status. But in the modern age, this instinct is being hijacked by algorithms. To fight back, you must protect your morning focus. Your brain's job is to scan for threats. Your job is to direct its gaze toward opportunities and gratitude. If you don't give your brain a script of gratitude, it will default to a script of lack. The brain also lies to you about your energy levels. It tells you that you are too tired to exercise, too drained to work on your passion project, or too exhausted to be kind. This is often a lie of conservation. Your brain is a greedy organ. It consumes a massive amount of your body's energy, and it wants to save as much as possible by keeping you in a low power mode. It's like a cat that pretends to be asleep so it doesn't have to move. But energy isn't something you have, it's something you generate. By pushing through that initial morning lie of fatigue, you discover a reservoir of strength you didn't know existed. The moment you start moving, the brain realizes the danger it was trying to avoid isn't coming, and it finally releases the chemicals that make you feel alert and capable. You cannot wait to feel ready to start, you must start to feel ready. We must also confront the false prophet lie. This is when your brain predicts that today will be exactly like your worst yesterday. It uses the logic of a closed loop, suggesting that because you failed or felt unhappy before, you are destined to repeat it. But every morning is a biological and spiritual reset. From an Islamic perspective, each dawn is a sign of renewal, a moment where the soul returns to the body and is given another chance to strive. Your brain might see a dead end, but your spirit sees a path. To fight back, you need to practice intentional defiance. When your brain says, "Today will be hard," respond with, "Today will be an opportunity to grow." When it says, "You have no strength," respond with, "My strength comes from a source greater than my feelings."
You are the master of the house. The brain is just a very loud and opinionated tenant. To solidify your victory over these morning lies, you must establish a sanctuary of truth. This involves a morning routine that denies the brain the opportunity to weave its web of deceit. Silence, prayer, journaling, or simple mindful breathing act as a shield. Instead of letting your mind run wild like a feral cat, you are domesticating your thoughts, teaching them where to sit and how to behave. This isn't a one-time fix, it is a daily discipline. The lies will come back tomorrow morning, that is their nature, but your ability to recognize them will grow stronger. You will start to hear the whisper of "you're not enough" and simply smile, knowing it's just the old survival software running a glitchy program. You are moving from a state of reaction to a state of action. In conclusion, your brain lies to you every morning because it's trying to protect a version of you that no longer exists, a version that was small, vulnerable, and afraid. But you have grown, you have tools, you have faith, and you have the power to rewrite the narrative. Don't let a deceptive morning shadow dictate the trajectory of your entire day. Wake up, recognize the hiss of the ego, and step out into the light of reality anyway. The more you fight back, the quieter the lies become, until eventually the morning becomes a place of peace rather than a battlefield. If you found this perspective helpful and want to continue mastering the psychology of your inner world through our feline guides, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share in the comments what is the biggest lie your brain tried to tell you this morning. Let's build a community of truth seekers together.